Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.
What's up? We back. It's the podcast. Oh no, girl, yes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing. Are you sharing it? Thank you for the comments too. Keep them coming. You can always watch us also on our YouTube channel. Leave comments there and subscribe to our Patreon. That's where you get behind the scenes dish. We pretty much bare our souls here, free and publicly, but Patreon gets social security numbers of the guilty. So you might want to get into that. You doing okay, girlfriend?
I'm good, girl.
Okay, so we rocking it out. We both been super busy, and so sometimes we try to figure out how.
We apologize for this being a day late.
Right, we apologize for this being a day late. We do realize, but you know, she be busy, and then I be busy, and then I be busy, and then she be busy. So we be like, "Girl, where we going?" So we here now. Okay, so what we want us to talk about this week is, can kind of different personality types make it together? So my friend, my young peaceful companion asked me to take a personality test. He asked me a couple months ago. I took it last week. I sent him the results, and I actually had never taken like an Enneagram personality test before. And so it was interesting because it actually was pretty spot on about how I am in relationships or my expectations in a relationship. If I was going to describe myself without those listings or testings, I would say I'm an introverted extrovert. I'm not really ever looking to go out or be anywhere, but my personality lends itself to my profession, which is being on and being friendly and being personable. But as a real person, you ain't gonna see me out for real like that. How would you describe your personality?
I probably would be just the opposite. I'm an extrovert introvert.
Okay.
I enjoy going out and doing things, but don't come near me and talk to me.
This is very true. You know what? This is very true because you would probably suggest we do something before I would suggest it. But once we're there, you don't want nobody to say nothing to us.
Not while I'm there.
Just don't talk. But my thing is, well, if I'm out, I guess people are going to talk. That's fine. I just am rarely out. Okay. Right. So somehow we're a pair. But how does that look in a relationship when you're dating someone? If someone is just literally an introvert and you're an extrovert, what does that look like? How can it work? An example I think of is if you guys watch Love is Blind season 2, it was kind of one of those things that came up with Jared and Ayana. You know, she's a homebody and he's somebody who's always in the streets. And so you saw on the Netflix show Love is Blind season 2 that he would be going out and hanging out with his friends, and then she's at home. But she didn't seem to be sad to be at home. That's where she wanted to be. And so as a viewer, you're watching it and you're like, well, Jared, you ain't single no more, so you don't need to be out. But then it's also like, well, but Ayana, why don't you just go out with him?
Right.
What do you think about the balance of when there's an extrovert dating an introvert?
Right. As a viewer watching that same show, I can see where they both were at fault, where they both needed to bend the rules. But I am actually in a situation where I'm the extroverted person in a relationship, and the guy, he does not like to go anywhere ever in life. So
I'm not gonna make this about you, but continue.
I will.
Okay.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, who knows what it'll be when it airs, but that's what the situation is today. And so living it is a lot different. You don't see it as easily as, oh, well, you need to stay home sometimes, or you need to go out sometimes, because it's hard. It's harder than that. It's hard, because you battle with the idea of not changing who you are, not necessarily not compromising, but just not saying, just acting like sitting at home on the couch all day is what you want to do every day, versus going out. And then you battle with not wanting to force your partner to do the thing that you like to do, because that makes him uncomfortable. So it's not as easy as just saying, hey, you come out with me sometimes. And it sounds like it's easy, but it hasn't been that easy.
Right. And we kind of talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Well, I think I posed a question to you, and you're learning everything in this relationship in a real time situation. So it's like, how we sit here and we can talk. Most of the podcasts, we've talked about things we've already experienced, and then we'll talk about what we learned about it or what we think about it now. But when you are actively dating somebody and you're learning about each other in real time, it's hard to say, how you feel or how you react because you're going through it right now.
Right.
But a couple of weeks ago, we had kind of a conversation about it because I said, based on his work schedule and based on his interest in going out, a lot of times y'all are not going to be on the same page because either he's not going to be available to go out with you or he's just not going to want to go out with you. And I don't even consider you as somebody that goes out a lot, but you do support your friends. And you have friends that, whether it's coaching a state championship team or a singer or myself as a comedian or your family or, the things you're doing, you're out, but it's not like you're out in the streets, so-called.
Right.
And then you also enjoy traveling and taking trips and doing things in addition to all the stuff you do professionally. So a lot of times your out isn't what it sounds like if the person is in.
Yes. Or what it looks like online if the person is in. And so, we were talking about this not too long ago when I was telling you, like, I don't think I go out that much, but you were trying to get me to see his point of view as somebody who does not go out probably at all. Right. There is a big difference in our personalities when it comes to like what we like to do, outside of the house.
Right. And you know what? It's hard to see it on yourself because even though I can say I'm an introvert all day, anybody who would just look at my social media for 1 week be like, ma'am, you are not, but to me, I'm working. And then I go home and you're not talking to me. And so it's about reality versus perception. So I think if you're dating someone who doesn't go out at all, they are seeing you go out. Any amount you go out is more than they go out. But then also is other feelings attached to you going out without them, even though they don't want to go or they can't go.
Right. Right. You have to be careful. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who was dating this guy. And she enjoyed having a drink when she'd go out or when they would hang out, and he would never drink with her. He would never like turn up, I guess you say, with her. And so, but then she would see him out with his friends and he would turn up. I keep saying that. Is that a new word? Is that people still say turn up?
I think that was offered to you.
Okay. But anyway, so he used to hang out with his friends and he would drink and have fun and, just be joyful. And she took offense to it because it's like, you don't like doing those things with me. Why would you go out and do that with them? Like, what's different about me? Why can't we have that same type of fun? And I kind of have seen that in this situation I'm in now, where it's like, I am a different person, or I seem to be a different person when I'm out with my friends because I'm out doing things that I like to do and this and that and the other. I see myself having fun with him, at home, watching TV, watching movies, eating popcorn. I see myself having fun, but it's not reflected in the same way.
Right.
And so it becomes an issue of like, well, you're not having fun with me like you have, you know what I mean?
Right.
You have fun with your friends when you go out.
We are having some internet issues. So sometimes you're freezing a little bit. So if you watch it on a YouTube, just hang on. If you're listening,
just listen. Don't watch it.
We had a big storm, so we just wanted to get this out. Okay, but let me ask you, do you think the difference is social media? Because when you're at home watching a movie, eating popcorn, you're not posting those moments. And so other people would perceive it as, oh, she's having this great, wonderful, fun relationship, right?
Yeah.
But when you do go out and spend time with your friends, you do post and share that. So maybe he's consuming that as a bigger and better time than it may actually.
Right. I mean, and social media is nothing but a lie anyway for all of us. It's just highlights of our, otherwise boring lives. That's what my social media is. It's a highlight. Like I don't post everything I do every day because most of it I don't want to share. But if I'm out having fun and I see I'm at a new restaurant, I have a new cute drink, I might take a picture of it. I think that is a cause. I think they've had this issue, or couples have had this issue before social media was a thing, but I think it does heighten it a little bit more and make people more aware of, what you're doing and why you're doing it.
That could be the answer to your issue. If you started maybe posting pictures of the bowl and popcorn and say, oh, enjoying a night in.
It could be. Didn't think about it that way, but it could be as simple as, doing a little boomerang of a bowl of popcorn and a glass of wine.
And nobody necessarily knows who you with other than him, but maybe he would then take it as you presenting your good time.
Yes. Yeah, it could be. That's a good thought. Look at you solving real problems.
They just have fixed everything, y'all. Because sometimes that is a thing. I mean, I don't think he's a social media person from my understanding, but still that is the perception is, oh, when you're having fun, I can see it online. And are you having fun with me? Because and look, like you said, social media, whatever he's seeing that you did out there, it's got filters on it, it's got text on it, it's got a song on it, it's got some kind
music. It looks like fun, big fun in Baltimore.
Big fun. Okay. So when you're sitting there next to him, it would probably be easy to think, wow, this isn't as exciting, as wonderful as what she's normally doing. She's settling by sitting here on the couch with me. Now, but there still is a caveat, because he doesn't like to go do things. So one, he works a shift where he's probably not as available, but when he does have time, you know that's not what he's trying to do. He would rather just chill.
Yeah. And ideally, in the beginning, I thought that this would be an ideal match, obviously, because if he's working all the time, I have a little bit more freedom if I wanted to go out with my friends or do stuff like that. And then on the days that he's not working and he's available, then that would be the time that I want to wind down and, just hang out.
That sounds like perfect math in your mind. So when you would say, oh, this sounds perfect. You at work, so I'll be out. Well, what he's processing is, so you just be out and I'll be at work.
And it really isn't that bad, y'all. It has not been like that for real, but it just sounds like it. It's not.
But to where that seemed like a dream scenario for you is like, cool. So it's not like I'm not with you and I could be with you. You're at work, so I can't be with you anyway.
Right.
So I don't feel bad about spending time with my friends and family. And then I hang out with you when you're available. But it doesnn seem like he's processing it that way. He's processing it as,
and I understand why you wouldn't process it that way. Yeah. I understand that.
Right. But you're also feel like you should hold firm to, you believe it's okay to compromise, but you don't want to feel like you're not living your best life.
Right. Because I think that's the fall of a lot of relationships. People change so much, and then 20 years down the road, they're like, wait a minute, what happened? I used to be a ballerina and now I just sit on the couch and eat and be fat all the time.
Right. I mean,
and either you do something about it and you leave, or you cause all this friction because you're not happy anymore. So I don't want to be that person.
Somebody say before, it was a divorced person I was dating, but this divorced man who I was dating, he was saying how he and his ex-wife were pretty much complete opposites from the beginning. And at first it was cute because it might be, oh, I'm really good with money, he's bad with money, so we balance each other out. Or I'm an extrovert, he's an introvert, we balance each other out. He said one day you just kind of wake up and it's this person that you have nothing in common with, and you're like, how did we get here together? Because we have nothing in common. And it made perfect sense because so many people say, oh, opposites attract, and I have this, and then I help with, but one day you get to the point where you're like, we don't like none of the same stuff. We don't think the same about stuff. We don't feel, and then you're kind of stuck like, okay, nothing's changed. This is who we were when we met, but we thought it was cute. And then you get to the point where you're like, I
think some people secretly hope that their spouse or their partner will eventually adapt to their way of thinking. And I've seen that happen too. I have a cousin who she said when she was dating her husband, he didn't like to travel at all. Like that was not a thing he liked to do. And I think it was because he probably wasn't exposed to it as much. But once they started, when they got married, she was like, hey, I'm planning this trip for us this weekend and blah, blah, blah. Before you knew it, he was the first one in the car to go somewhere, You
made him sound like a dog.
So that does happen, but that's not a fairy tale ending for everybody.
You made him sound like a dog. He was the first one in the car, ready to go, tail wagging. But what's interesting?
But that does happen, but you have to remember that that's not always going to be the case.
Right.
Right.
And sometimes, let's think about one of our mutual friends. I think you'll know who I'm talking about. Well, she's very athletic and her family is athletic, but her husband was more of the athlete when they met. And then she got into the triathlons and the running and all the stuff by being with him. And now she loves doing it on her own, and the kids do it, and they do those type things as a family. Now, at some point, if she wasn't the athletic one and he was, and she sat on the couch, at some point, those gaps in personality just, I think, kind of grow with time. Now, what's interesting about you and the person you're dating is y'all are very different and opposite on, let's say, the introvert extrovert thing. But the thing y'all have in common is probably the worst thing to have in common, and that's stubbornness.
Wait, how did we get in this conversation?
Well, because when you're talking about compromise and y'all can know, okay, I'm like this and you're like this. Well, if both of y'all are like this and stubborn, these are going to be more of an issue than if both of y'all weren't so stubborn. And
I will say this about him, even though he is an introvert just by nature, when he gets around people, he talks like he's a talker. He's not like a shy person by any means. Yeah, he's a people person, he's he's a people pleaser. So that's why it's hard for me to know that he would rather sit on the couch sometimes than, go out and talk to people and stuff like that. But that's just, I don't know what you would call that.
But you're not trying to be out and going out talking to people either. That's not even it.
Oh, but he would. If we would, he would be the one talking and I would be the one,
Right. And so that's still
minding my business.
Different. Right. But you're the one that's going to be out and want to be out. And he's not going to want to be out and not going to be out. So in real time, as far as our listeners or viewers of this, this is a challenge now that you're going through and trying to figure out, okay, how do I maintain who I am as a person? How do I compromise in the context of dating this person that I enjoy? But you're having a challenge with how, and it's not just your challenge. I think it's a lot of women's challenge. And I'm just speaking from a woman's point of view. So I'm not saying men don't have the challenge, but how do you make someone feel something they don't feel? And that's rough because you can tell somebody, hey, you're wonderful, you're perfect. If they don't feel that, it's hard. You can't make somebody feel something, or can you? I don't know. We don't know that part.
I don't know. I really honestly don't know the answer. Y'all tell us, please, in the comments.
Can you make somebody feel something? I mean, I've had situations where I have realized I've made people feel something I didn't mean to make them feel. And so I think it's almost easier to acknowledge not meaning to make someone feel something versus trying to make someone feel something. Does that make sense?
Very easy.
Because I was thinking about one of my friends told me she was going to be working on something a few months ago. So when I talked to her a few months later, I was like, hey, how's that thing going? She's like, oh, look, you holding me accountable. And that wasn't what I was doing. I was just saying, how's that thing going that you told me you were going to do? But what I made her feel was that I was kind of calling her on the carpet and trying to hold her accountable to what she said, when that was not my intention at all. So I realized how I made her feel, even though that was not the intention. But on the flip side of that, I've dated guys and I've had to just let it go because I'm like, I can't make you feel like you deserve me, or I can't make you feel like you're good enough. I can tell you are. Me spending time with you is to let you know you are. What I'm sharing with you, mind, body, and soul, is to say I want to be with you. But if you don't feel that, I don't know how to make you feel that.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have that answer.
Make somebody feel something,
No, I think you can show appreciation, just like, positive reinforcement is always a good thing. But that's kind of the end of where I can, figure out what to do. Like, I think positive reinforcement is the main thing.
And so that's where your stubbornness will then come in, because you feel like you've done it, but then you also don't want to feel like you're having to stroke someone's ego in order to be in partnership. But it's still a very fine line for either one, right? And stroking egos always sounds negative, but all of us want somebody to be our cheerleader and to rah-rah and make us feel like, hey, when I'm with you, I just feel good. We all want that, right? But I think, let's say in situations where maybe a woman might not be able to receive love from a man, and that might be stemmed from her relationship with her father or previous relationships. That man that shows up and is loving her, he can't make her feel it if she just can't receive it, right? And he can do all the things. He can be a great husband. He can be a great dad. I have a friend who has been married 20 plus years. And he shared with me, he says, in all these years, she shared with me that, her dad left the family and all the trauma she had. He said, so when we came together, I wanted to show her I'm going to stay. He said, but I feel like she's been more attached to trying to prove me wrong. And it's like, so it's almost like, I'm going to keep testing you. Are you going to leave now? Well, what about now? Well, what about now? Versus relaxing and leaning into the fact that he's here. You keep trying to test him to say, see, I told you he was going to leave. So, and it's like, but are you trying to test me to see if I'm going to leave? Or could we just kind of be, and it just gave me the impression that he wasn't in peaceful companionship with this wife he's been with for 20 years, because he's attached to making sure she's wrong. But not necessarily because he's happy.
Yeah.
So he can't make her feel what she ain't feeling. And it's like an inside job. And I don't know how committed one can be to someone else feeling something that you want them to feel or need them to feel. I don't know how much you can tell somebody something before they believe you. And even if they say they believe you, are you then now hesitant because at any moment they won't?
Yes.
That's what you said yes very emphatically. So that means that's a challenge.
Yeah. No, what I was thinking was I was trying to think of situations where I've had a good feeling that I knew what this person was feeling. And then they couldn't convince me otherwise. Or definitely not through their words. Actions, maybe. But then, so I feel like, once you have this idea in your head, or at least me, and as a stubborn person, once I have an idea in my head, it's hard to get it out of there. You know what I mean?
And that's why both of y'all are where y'all are today. On today's recording, is both of y'all have an idea in your head that you can't get past, regardless of what both of you are saying to each other. Y'all are still stuck on the ideas that you have in your head.
Yeah.
And so that's why I said the thing y'all have in common is the worst part. Because it's like, who can get out of their head to activate a new idea? Who can get out of their head to activate new thoughts and new attachments and not be attached to that thought from over there? And some of those thoughts from over there aren't even for the person. Some of them are. Some of them are. But still, I think I heard years ago that a relationship is a commitment to forgiveness. Meaning, if you're going to be in a relationship, you're always going to have to let go of that last thing.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Good luck with that.
Let us know what y'all think, man. What y'all got to say about this?
Can opposites work? But primarily, can an introvert and an extrovert make it? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to be opposites. Can a religious person partner with a non-religious person and make it work? Can a financially stable person partner with somebody who just is financially illiterate? Can a compassionate person? I mean, I think a lot of compassionate people have partnered with people who might be
and it's not even just can they, because I think we've seen that happen and successfully, but how did they succeed is my question.
And what is succeed? Because we're saying from the outside, they seem to be succeeding. Somebody might still be resentful. Somebody might be saying,
you don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So all of that,
and it's so subjective. So we don't know. But please, y'all, if you want to comment, and you do usually listen, go to our YouTube channel, because that's a really good way to comment on the video. You don't have to rewatch the video to leave a comment. We'll definitely interact back with you. Right. But in a real time, this is not a drill dating situation. How much can she change the way she is to make him feel like she enjoys being with him when they're doing none of the things that she does without him?
And it's not, and I'm not saying I don't enjoy the thing. What I try to reiterate, and I may not say it in the best eloquent way, but I try to say, I let them know, I'm never anywhere where I don't want to be ever in life. I'm never just gonna be just up under somebody, and I don't want to be up under somebody. So at least take that,
Yeah, she's not eloquent at all. So what he hears when you say that is, I wouldn't just be up under somebody or around somebody if I wasn't enjoying myself. To you, that should be obvious. I don't have no problem being by myself. I got stuff I could be doing. So if I'm with you, it's because I want to be with you. And I think probably what he's hearing is, I'm better than nothing though. Am I what you want? I'm better than nothing. That's what
but that's not, no, because no, if you're better than nothing, or you're not, no, because I've never done the better than nothing stuff.
But that's what you're talking about.
I know that's what it sounds like. Yeah. No, that's not what I'm saying. No.
And you've had situations where you have said things, and then after the fact, you realize what it sounded like. And sometimes that can be a disconnect. What you say versus what it sounds like.
Right.
I don't know, friend. Good luck with that. You'll have to give us an update next week. So at this point, y'all, what I have advised her in a real-time situation is just don't say nothing else for a minute. Because I think both of them, being both stubborn people, the things they're saying right now is nothing horrible or bad, but it is rooted in fear. It's both of them are now trying to protect their own feelings. And so then I feel like both of y'all are trying to offer each other out, but it's to try to protect yourself. And I just say, don't say nothing else for a minute until y'all give us some comments and information on what she should say. Because I can't help her. Y'all need to help her out with that.
We're going to go ahead and get this uploaded so y'all can comment.
Yeah, we gotta get this uploaded fast. All right. Again, we apologize for the delay in this week's episode. We appreciate y'all looking for it and waiting on it, but here it is. But definitely interact with us. The best way is probably either on Facebook about the episode or on YouTube, where you can just leave a comment under the video for the episode, especially if you watch the video. We also apologize again for any of the technical glitches. We still are recovering from a big storm yesterday, and some of the internet connections ain't came back. It ain't our fault. We just had to do this for y'all. All right. Until next time. Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.